Hi guys, I'm Stacy and welcome to my channel. Today I have some Lily of the Valley images. These are their digis. Jill Norwood shared these on her channel. I had to go get them and I couldn't wait. So I picked these up. This is for Saturday Morning Makes. I'm gonna list Jill's information down below, and I'm gonna list a link also to her channel and the video that talks about this release from Lily of the Valley, because you can use her coupon code Jill10 to get 10% off. And then today we're going to be coloring this image with Copics or any alcohol markers you have. I have Prismacolor pencils here, Premier pencils, and Gamsol. And I'm using a black pencil for shading and a white pencil for highlights. I used this Stampendous stamp set, Inspired Verses set for the sentiment on these. And this is printed on Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I did that because this has some texture compared to the Express It cardstock, which is super smooth. So I want a little bit of tooth to the paper for those colored pencils. And you guys, I don't have a tutorial on how to size these images or print them out. I went to the LOTV YouTube channel and they kind of walked it through because the MacBook is new to me. And I had a hard time figuring it out. But when I saw Jill share these little bunnies, and she said that she couldn't get them sized down for the stamp set size, so that's why they were bigger, and she did larger cards, I was just like, oh, I gotta have them. I love making a larger image on a card. To me, it allows me more freedom for coloring. So I went ahead and just cut these down. The paper is 8.5 by 11, so I cut them down into quarters, which created four A2 size cards, which are 4.25 by 5.5. And I'm just showing you all the different images here. And then I'm going to show you the little guy we're going to color up today, which you saw at the intro of the video. And these are just so cute. So as always, I'm going in and I'm mapping out part of my shadows. I don't think I mapped them all out, but I do that just so I don't go in with my darkest marker before I map them out. And I don't do that all the time, but I did this time. Especially with this larger image, I just kind of wanted to get a feel for it. And then, as you saw, I put the number of the first Copic I used because I set it off to the wrong side. I put my little acrylic block there, and I don't know why I didn't set it on there. And I think my W2, my warm gray 2 marker needed to be refilled, which I'll have to do today. But it could just be because this is the Neenah Solar White. So this image and this card that I'm creating is for Saturday Morning Makes. It is an open collaboration hosted by Jill Norwood. I'm going to link all her info down below. I don't know if I said that already, guys. It's early in the morning. I was up way too late. I didn't go to bed till nearly 4 and was up at 8. No sleep, pain, sick again. And so I just had my cup of coffee. It hasn't totally kicked in yet, and I needed to get this voiceover done so that I could get this posted for you guys. So all of Jill's info will be listed down below for this, and I'm going to try to link her video, as I said earlier, for this actual stamp set release through LOTV, because she talks about their prior release and that you can use her code on the package deal for some of the stamps. So you can use it on digis, or you can use it on the polymer, photopolymer stamp sets. I didn't want to wait. The digis, I think, for this entire set, I think it's called Fluffy Bunnies. So you get all the bunnies and you get the sentiments. And I think with Jill's code, it was under $6. So I was like, oh, score, that's a win for me, because then I can make them larger. Or I can make them smaller if I want a smaller image. So I'm going in and I'm just coloring, and I'm trying to stay more on the light side because we are going to go in with a black colored pencil for shading. This is something I haven't done in a really long time, and it was a lot of fun to see the effect and the depth that you get from it. I showed this card to my husband after it was completed, and he said his eyes got real big, and he was like, wow. He's like, that's got a lot of depth. And then I showed him where it was on this, in the video when I completed it with a Copics, to him holding the card in front of him, and he just was amazed. Unfortunately, it doesn't show up as clear in the video, but it does show quite a bit of it. So here I'm going in on the scarf, and I started with just the one section. Not like it was going to make a difference, but it made me feel more comfortable before I proceeded to the rest of the stripes, just to make sure that I was going to like how it blended, which you can't go back with red. And I'm just adding and shading in these little stripes. And then I'm going to go in with the next color and do all the stripes at once, and start with my darkest and work to my lightest and then go backwards. Have you guys been participating in Saturday Morning Makes or Snowmen in July or Two Crafters, One Design? There's so many wonderful crafters out there. If you're not participating, that's okay. If you're just a viewer and you don't share your work, or you're just a viewer, go use those hashtags to search and show some of these crafters that you're out there supporting them and watching them. It really is encouraging. I know for me, whenever I receive a comment, and it's just encouraging, especially when you're putting yourself out there, whether you're just sharing your completed projects at the end, or you're sharing your process, or for me, this is all new, voiceover, editing, and if you go back on my channel and look, I haven't been doing it's not that far in. I think there's less than 10, and they're really gapped out. So it's super encouraging. So thank you for all of those that leave comments and encouraging comments, and even those that don't color with alcohol markers, and then you share what you do, and that's awesome. Right here, what I had done is printed out these digis on just a plain piece of copy paper, and then I fussy cut them. So I'm going to create a mask with two-way glue. That's a Zig two-way glue pen, and I fussy cut them, and I cut them on the line. And so I showed you the heart balloon first, and then I just did the bunny off camera. And then I'm going to take that glue and put it on the back. And you can use masking paper, you can use Post-its, you could use whatever. I mean, just make sure you're not using cardstock, because it's a little bit too thick if you're going to do ink blending on the background. So you will get like a halo effect. That's why you should cut on that black line. And then the pen, since it's so fine, like a detail, I take my finger and spread it out so it's even, and then I set it off to dry. Here I'm getting ready to get my pencils and work with them. And that Gamsol, I just have that little Old Spice container, and I cleaned it out and stuck a cotton ball in it. And then I had to put more Gamsol on it because I haven't used Gamsol for quite some time, but I soaked that so that I'm not sitting there breathing it in. I don't have to worry about spilling it. I have spilt it before on my projects. If you leave it long enough, it will evaporate and dry and not leave anything on your project, but I just like doing it that way. It's less messy for me. I feel like there's less fumes, even though there's probably not. And it doesn't oversaturate that stump, like that paper stump there. And I showed at the beginning that I just got a file out. I have a sand file that you can buy that's an art supply one somewhere, or you can use sandpaper. And anytime you're going in between colors, just go ahead and file it until you don't have any more of the residue coming off. So you'll dip it in your Gamsol and then scribble it onto a paper or a towel or a paper towel until it doesn't have any pigment left on it. So what I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm taking that black pencil and I'm just going around the edges and I'm deepening that shadowing, and then I'm pulling that out with the Gamsol. I'm blending it out, and Gamsol will make your colored pencils, if you do it right, it can blend out like watercolors, and it's not going to have the same exact effect, but it's very similar because that pigment will keep spreading. If you're using a Crayola crayon or pencil, it's not going to have as much pigment in those, so you'll have to keep continuing layering and using the Gamsol, which breaks down that waxy binder, or even with your polychromos, it'll break down the oils so that the pigment is what's left and you're spreading it out. And here I'm went ahead and blended that all out, and then I'm taking that mask and I'm putting it on my skin, I'm putting it on my clothes. I even put it more like on my pants, and you guys couldn't see it, so that it's tacky but not overly tacky, because it can tear your project. And then I pulled out this MFT mini cloud stencil. I believe that's tumbled glass distress ink. I've got a Hero Arts blending brush. And then I'm just blending the clouds, and I'm trying to be a little bit heavier on the edges of the clouds and then a little bit lighter in the middle. And then I'm going around the outside with the blending brush with the ink. And then I'm also, underneath that last cloud, I kind of went around and underneath it, so it's not just stark white. So I'm going to go around the edge of the card and create a halo effect. And then here's the big reveal. This is so fun when you do this part. And then you can reevaluate your image. Do you need to add more pigment? Do you need to shade more? And so since the bunny is just some lines that come up at the top of its head, I wanted to give those some depth. So I went back in with my, I think it was warm gray too. And then I'm going back in with this pencil because I want to deepen those shadows. And as I was getting further into the project, I was realizing that it probably would have been better if I was a little bit, put less of the color pencil down and blended it out and built it up, which is what I'm doing here, especially in those really pale pinks. But I still love the effect. So what this will also show you is if you have markers and you don't have that many markers. So with Copics, they have natural blending families, which you don't have to stick to those to blend. You can use colored pencils. So I could have went in here with one color per thing. So with the bunny, I could have went in with just the bunny and used the pencil to shade with. And then used pink for the balloons, ears, all those colors, and I wouldn't have had to do the different colors. Also, if you have Copics and then you buy all the grays or buy some of the grays, you can shade exactly with those as well, not just colored pencils. You could use a pencil, a graphite pencil, a charcoal pencil, and get a similar effect. Then I'm going in with my white colored pencil, and it's not going to brighten it like a gel pen will, but I didn't want that. I wanted a little bit more brightness in some areas. It does add a little bit of texture, even though I am blending it out with Gamsol, because that Gamsol is going to spread it out. It's going to knock that white down, because I think part of the reason it becomes more opaque is the wax that binds it. But I still wanted it to blend out. I didn't want it to have as much texture as it did. So I'm just going back in and I'm touching up all those areas, and then I'm going to attach it to a card base. I use Recollections heavyweight cardstock, 110 pound. It's cheap, it's really heavy. The GSM is over 300, and so it's a very heavy, stout card base. And I think that glassy accents or adding some sparkle or just the little fine details in our cards are what really take them to the next step. So I'm adding some glossy accents, and what you saw me doing there was taking a Memento pen, and just in the area where I went over the whiskers with the colored pencil, there was a little bit of cloudiness. So I just touched up those areas. I didn't do the entire whiskers. And then I'm using my pin there to pop any bubbles and smooth out any areas in that glossy accent. So I put it on the balloons, the eyes, I believe the nose, and the feet, the little pads of the feet. And then I went in and lined up my sentiment there. I'm just stamping that in Memento tuxedo black ink. It doesn't matter what it's stamped in this one because it's not being colored. It's just a sentiment. You can do it in whatever ink you have, whatever color. And I'm just taking my time and pressing lightly because I don't want to distort that. And here's the end card, guys. Isn't she cute? I just love it. I think it came out really cute. I can't wait to color up the other images, and I will do that, and I will be back to share those at maybe later next week. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really does help my channel out. Thanks, guys. Happy crafting.